Today, I'll be showing you everything you need to know about tritone substitutions. Enjoy. So, an overview of what you're going to learn in today's lesson. First of all, tritone substitutions are a technique for using dominant seventh chords. So first of all, we have to learn how dominant seventh chords operate. Okay, so from there, I'll show you where tritone substitutions come in, how they work. And then from there, I'll be showing you how to solo over tritone substitutions. So I'll be giving you a selection of scales you can use and also arpeggios you can use, along with some licks to solo over tritone substitutions. If you're interested, down in the description, completely for free, you can grab a PDF with all of the info from today's lesson. I've created a backing track to jam along with as well, and that's available down at my Patreon page. I'm Dave. My channel's all about helping you create awesome neo-soul, R&B, and other modern sounds on your guitar. If you're new here and that sounds like your kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you click the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. Let's jump straight into the lesson. Tritone substitutions are a great way to use dominant seventh chords, but we have to know how dominant seventh chords operate before we start using the tritone substitutions. If we're playing in the key of G, we've got the dominant seventh chord D7, which is diatonic. So let's take a look at the notes in a D7 chord. We've got the notes D, F sharp, A, and C. Now the notes that make it a dominant seventh chord, that are essential to it being a dominant seventh chord, are the third and the flat seventh. We've got a root, third, fifth, and flat seventh in the dominant seventh chord, and that third and the flat seventh, the F sharp and the C, are what give it the dominant seventh sound, okay? These are called guide tones. Now the dominant seventh chord's purpose is to create tension leading back to our tonic. So if you hear the D7, really leads us nicely back into G. So why does that work? It's because of these guide tones. This F sharp really wants to resolve upper semitone to G, which is of course in our G chord, and the C in our dominant seventh chord wants to resolve down to a B, which is also in the G major chord. On top of this, the F sharp and the C create a dissonant interval that adds a lot of tension to the chord, which you want to hear resolved, okay? This dissonant interval is a tritone. F sharp to C is a tritone. The interesting thing about tritones is that no matter which way you put them, they're still a tritone. That doesn't work with other intervals. For example, if you played a perfect fifth and you switch the notes around, you'd get a perfect fourth. But if you switch the notes around in a tritone, you still have a tritone. Now this is really, really important, because if we switch the notes around and instead have C to F sharp, those are the third and the flat seventh in another dominant seventh chord. Just dropped my pick. That dominant seventh chord is the A flat 7 chord. And notice the A flat is a tritone away from D as well, okay? So what we're doing is we're substituting the D7 for the A flat 7. Okay, that is our tritone substitution. Now, as you can see in the A flat 7, we've got the notes A flat, C, E flat, and G flat. And the G flat is of course the same as an F sharp, so you've got the F sharp and the C in there. They're the third and the seventh of the chord as well, just the opposite way round. So C is the third and F sharp or G flat is the flat seventh. An A flat 7 chord functions exactly the same as a D7 chord. But it just sounds a little cooler, a little bit more interesting, and adds a bit more flavor to your chord progressions. So for example, if we were to play a 2-5-1 in the key of G, we would play A minor 7, D7, and G major 7. But if we replaced the D7 for our A flat 7, we'd get something that sounds like this. Sounds really awesome, right? Let's try one more chord progression. Let's try a 1-6-4-5 in the key of G as well. So we're going to play G major 7, E minor 7, C major 7, D7. Now let's replace our D7 for the A flat 7, our tritone substitution, and hear how that sounds. So now let's talk about how to solo over tritone substitutions. First of all, I'm going to show you a cool scale you can use to solo over tritone substitutions. What we want to look for is a scale that contains all the notes of our dominant 7th chord, the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the flat 7th. The Mixolydian scale is the perfect scale for this because of course it contains the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the flat 7th. So when we play that A flat 7 in a 2-5-1, for example, so we're going to play A minor 7, A flat 7, G major 7. When we play that A flat 7, we can play the A flat Mixolydian scale, and over the other chords we can just stick to our G major or G major pentatonic scale. So let's take a look at how to play the Mixolydian scale, and then I'll show you a cool lick using the Mixolydian scale over our tritone substitution. So we're going to play 4-6 on the low E, then we're going to play 3-4-6 on the A, then we're going to play 3-4-6 on the D, then we're going to play 3-5-6 on the G string, then we're going to play 4-6-7 on the B string, then we're going to play 4-6 on the high E string. Altogether it sounds like this. Okay, so take a listen to the first lick I've prepared in this video, which uses the A flat Mixolydian scale over the A flat 7 chord and plays the G major pentatonic scale over the rest of the chord progression. Another really great scale you can use over tritone substitutions is the Lydian dominant scale. Now the Lydian dominant scale contains a root, 2nd, 3rd, sharp 4th, 5th, 6th, and flat 7th. This is just like a Mixolydian scale, except the 4th is raised. We've got a sharp 4th there. Now if you can add that sharp 4th, or in this chord it's going to be called the sharp 11th, to our dominant 7th chord, we get a very interesting sound. So we're playing a dominant 7, sharp 11 chord. And if we play it in our 2-5-1, so we're playing A minor 7, A flat 7, sharp 11, and G major 7, it sounds like this. So let's take a look at how to play the A flat Lydian dominant scale, and then I'll show you a lick using the A flat Lydian dominant scale. A flat Lydian dominant, we're playing 4-6 on the low E string, 3-5-6 on the A string, 3-4-6 on the D string, 3-5 on the G string, 3-4-6-7 on the B string. So notice I used my little finger and then slid it up there. And then we're playing 4-6 on the high E string. So again, I'm doing the same thing. We're playing A minor 7, playing A flat 7 without the sharp 11 in the backing track, but you could play it with the sharp 11. And then we're playing G major 7, okay? Over the A flat 7, I'm playing the A flat Lydian dominant scale. Over the A minor 7, G major 7, I'm using the G major pentatonic scale. Take a listen to the lick. Now another soloing approach you can use for tritone substitutions is to arpeggiate the chords that are being played. We're going to play an A minor 7 arpeggio, an A flat 7 arpeggio, and then a G major 7 arpeggio. This is what the arpeggios look like. Here's our A minor 7 arpeggio. Here's the A flat 7 arpeggio. And here's the G major 7 arpeggio. So take a listen to a lick using these exact arpeggios. Now we could take the arpeggios a little bit further and highlight some extensions in the chords by starting on the 3rd of each chord. So if we do that, what we get is we get from the 3rd of the A minor 7 chord, we get a C major 7 chord, which looks like this. Then if we use the Mixolydian scale to continue the A flat 7 chord, we're playing a C minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. And then if we play an arpeggio starting on the 3rd of the G major 7 chord, we get a B minor 7 chord, or a B minor 7 arpeggio. Okay, so C major 7, C minor 7 flat 5, and then B minor 7. So take a listen to a lick that I created using these particular arpeggios. Now the next step for you is to download the PDF down in the description, read everything that's contained in that PDF, just to recap everything in this lesson. What I've actually done is taken an extract from my book, Chord Charisma, and used it to explain tritone substitutions. And then also I've shown you the scale diagrams and the licks and the arpeggios and the scale shapes from today's lesson after that as well in this PDF. Completely free for you. Head down to the description. If you want the backing track that I've been playing over, it's down at my Patreon page as well. Okay, so you can grab it there. Now, tritone substitutions are just one way of using dominant 7th chords to create some really spicy chord progressions and some really cool jazzy sounds in your playing. If you want to learn more dominant 7th techniques and way more other techniques for writing really awesome chord progressions, check out my book, Chord Charisma. Chord Charisma 2.0 is a complete guide to writing incredible, jaw-dropping chord progressions. Everything you need to know about harmony and chords is contained within this book. It will take you through the basics of building tension and releasing your chord progressions, and will build upon this foundation with more advanced concepts like jazzy extended chords, borrowed chords from other keys, and cool substitutions to take your chord progression knowledge and ability to the next level. There is a serious amount of content in this book, but it's laid out in a structured fashion with action steps at the end of each chapter to make sure you've fully internalized and are actually able to use what you've learned from the book in your playing. That's really, really important. It's a very practical book, which will get you writing new progressions straight away, guaranteed. You'll also have access to personal feedback on your progressions from me via the Chord Charisma Facebook community. And as a bonus, I've thrown in a soloing guide to go with the book, so you won't get lost when you're trying to play licks over your new and improved chord progressions. Head to the link in the description to grab your copy of Chord Charisma 2.0 today.